welcome to this week's episode of Blue Ice Talks. I'm Blue and I like to talk about figure skating. I'm sorry it's been so long since I last posted a video. I've had quite a lot going on in my personal life. In this week's video, I thought I'd come back by discussing one of the biggest figure skating scandals there is, the 2002 Winter Olympics scandal. At the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, the pairs figure skating competition was put under a spotlight, but not for the reason that people would want. In the short program, Elena Berezina and Anton Sikharulidze of Russia won the short program over Jamie Salé and David Pelletier of Canada. I'm very sorry for how I've butchered those names. The Canadians had tripped and fallen on their last pose, but because it wasn't part of an element, they didn't get a deduction. The judges still kind of did take it into account though. So going into the free program, it was Russia in first place and then the Canadians in second. The short program is not the part with the controversy, the free skaters. So during their free skate, the Russian pair had a few small but very obvious technical errors, for example when he stepped out of the double axel. In contrast, the Canadians performed a flawless free program to music that they'd previously used and done well at the Grand Prix final. So they skated flawlessly. Some people consider their program to be less difficult than the Russians, but that's debated. So this was scored during the 6.0 era of scoring, where the Canadians got 5.9s and 5.8s for their technical merit. In comparison, the Russians mostly got 5.8 to 5.7s, so the Canadians were slightly ahead technically. However, presentation was weighted more in the score compared to tech back in the 6.0 era, and the Canadians only got 4 5.9s for presentations, whereas the Russians got 7 5.9s. So the Canadians needed at least 5 5.9s in presentations to win overall, and because they didn't, they were second, they got the silver medal, and the Russians took the gold. When the results were seen live, American and Canadian commentators for NBC Sports and CBC Sports announced that the Canadians had won the gold as they finished their program, and so they were outraged when the marks actually appeared. And there were suspicions of cheating in the scoring. There was also what was called block judging, where there was like Eastern Bloc countries versus more Western countries. And you might be thinking, hang on, isn't Japan very far to the east? Yes, but their judging was considered as part of the Western Bloc rather than the Eastern Bloc. And it was the French judge who actually kind of went against that. And so because it was the French judge who didn't kind of vote in block lines, Marie-Reine Lejeune, I'm going to say, I might even be mispronouncing her name, she attracted quite a lot of suspicion, not just from media but also from other actual ISU officials. So at the hotel for the officials, the chair of the ISU's technical committee, Sally Stapleford, she confronted the French judge. And the French judge then allegedly said that she had been pressured by the head of the French National Skating Federation to vote for the Russian pair regardless of how anyone else performed. And she said this at the post-event judges meeting the next day, allegedly. And so this was allegedly part of a deal to get an advantage for the French ice dance team that was going to be in a few days. She did later then sign a statement where she denied taking part in such a deal and said that she truly believed the Russian pair deserved to win gold. But when you said statements like that, it's very difficult to take them back, isn't it? So then we come to kind of the more important bit from hindsight's perspective, of what actually changed. What did this cause? So there was a lot of press outrage, particularly in Canada and also in North America, so the United States. NBC really strongly supported the Canadians. Some people felt that the Russian pair deserved their win and it wasn't fair to them to mar their win by alleged dishonesty of a single judge. So in response to the Canadian and American outcry, the president of the ISU at the time, Ottavio Cinquanta, I hope I pronounced that correctly, they announced in a press conference that the ISU would conduct an internal assessment into the judging. The IOC, so the International Olympic Committee Director General, also urged the ISU to resolve it quickly. A couple of days later, the International Olympic Committee president announced that the Canadians' silver medals would be upgraded to gold, and because the Russians, there was no evidence of wrongdoing on their behalf, they got to keep their golds as well, because 4 out of 9 judges on the panel felt that they deserved it, and it wouldn't have been fair to take the gold away from the Russians because of a single judge, essentially. Their point totals were removed and the award ceremony was repeated, but the bronze medalists from the People's Republic of China, they didn't attend the second one because they'd kind of already got their medals. There was no change for them, they were still the bronze medalists. Then the French judge and the former head of the French Figure Skating Federation were both suspended for 3 years, and they were also prohibited from attending the 2006 Winter Olympics. And then kind of the biggest change is that in 2004, the ISU voted to change the 6.0 era judging system to the IJS, or the International Judging System, because the 6.0 era was considered too subjective and the IJS was intended to score a skater based on their technical grade of execution of the elements and to give a true numerical mathematical score. And the ISU initially adopted a policy of secret judging. This has now changed though. The ISU initially put this in to apparently free judges from the pressure of their federations, but many critics pointed out that the secrecy actually stopped people from being able to identify cheating. So this was changed after the Sochi Olympics. The impact that the Salt Lake City skating scandal, that is a mouthful, do not try and say that quickly, the impact that this scandal had on figure skating is huge, and honestly it's one of those big moments that I know people love to discuss the Sochi scandal, which I will probably do at some point, but Salt Lake City really had a shaking impact on skating that I don't think has been seen in the same way since, or if it has, I would say the closest is probably with Kamila Valieva at the Beijing Winter Olympics. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have changed my mic this week, so I hope it's a little bit better and not so crackly. I always appreciate all of your love and support. Thank you so much. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter or any of my socials, they're in the link in the description below. And if you have a topic you would like me to cover for next week's video, again, let me know either in the comments or on social media. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!